Um, so here we are, talking with Zaki. He's just closed a £40,000 production deal, and um, it's not, I say £40,000, but £45 a very, I was speaking to a guy that was making over $100 million a year in Australia, and he said to me, he said pounds is real money. He always made that point of like pounds is real money. This is real money. It's not American dollars is good, but like it's nothing like pounds. Pounds is the real money in the world, I believe. So congratulations on that. And we're talking about in this video. So if you're a person that's struggling in the marketplace, I would say this came down. So for the people that are like watching this back home and like they're sitting in terms of like the only reason I'm doing this is to inspire someone on YouTube. It's for YouTube and YouTube online, is to show other people what is possible. What would you put it down to? I know you've said some very beautiful things about me, but in terms of just direct message from them to them, I mean, obviously having a coach is an amazing thing to invest in. And, you've said so much things of how we helped and I got inside your head and everything in between. But let's just go a little bit deeper. Do you think the pitch did this? Do you think it was the pitch that actually did this?
I think the pitch helps. Having structure helps, especially for a brain like mine. If I was just like there without a pitch deck, excuse me.
And there was not the like, we're not naming names because we don't want you, they don't know who you're talking about here. Could be anyone. But the big thing here is that they were not easy.
No, no,
They
no.
were so challenging. They were so challenging. You wasn't pitching to one person. You were virtually pitching to a full board of people. It was not an easy thing for you to do, and they were putting you under a tremendous amount of pressure. Like I always said to people, like if we've got structure to a conversation, we're guiding and leading the conversation. We can never really go wrong in terms of what to say next. But there is other elements to a really well-defined pitch that you've got to have your tonality on point. And that in itself really comes from the third point in my eyes, which is intention to help. If you have the right intention, you make the intention to help bigger than your self-gain meaning money, deal, everything, which I believe you did do in that pitch. You really humanized that pitch. You took the structure of what we gave you. Your tonality was on point. You were getting thrown a lot of objections, a lot of like embarrassing questions as well. Like, show me evidence that where a lot of people would trip up and like, let's be honest, there wasn't that much evidence that you had. But because you stuck to the trip, you humanized through tonality, but your intention was so high. And I think a lot of it came down to the fourth point, which is the confidence and the ability in your business and the service you provide. You believe in what the offer was. The offer was a phenomenal offer.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah, no,
phenomenal offer, and they wouldn't get that anywhere else.
yeah,
It's a
no,
great
no.
offer.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone else is going to get that again because I know that it has a certain value to it. It might be 40K again, but in terms of the deliverables, this is like, okay, I know I like you said earlier, there are people that work for 2-3 days in my field, in our field, in what we do,
Of course.
who work for 2-3 days, 40K. Don't touch a camera. Don't just
I know.
set.
Yeah, I know someone like his day rate's is about 20-25,000 without a camera or a crew just for showing up. I mean, he's one of the best ad creation for cars in Australia, but he's not showing off for anything less than 25K. And that's without doing anything. That's just show up, right? And then, there's Ariel X's Reds, and then he's putting some on top of that. Then he's got a crew, then he's got a gaffer, then he's got this, then he's got that. Like, so it all stems from the, well, what I'm excited about this particular project is because it's one, it's a large project. Two, they're very challenging. Three, they're a big company. Four, they're probably going to continue with you because I'm going to show you how to upsell them, side sell them, get referrals out of them, and really sort of build a solid relationship. And at the same time, I'm going to help you as much as I can, help provide as much value through the process as I can. Yeah. But I wanted to shift gears and talk about a little bit about that after sale feeling that I think a lot of filmmakers go through, like particularly if you're watching this and you have like closed a 75 to 100,000 or 50,000 US client, the feeling of that after drop dopamine, we're talking about this, and I think it's really, really important you want to share some of them emotions that I knew you would go through this. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, he's gonna have a drop in energy. There's gonna be a big drop because it's like there was a lot of emphasis on this deal. I mean, we worked on this deal for about 2 weeks. Solid. I think a lot of filmmakers go through this where they're actually building up such a immense amount of nervous. Will they do it? Will they not do it? This anticipation, this excitement. And then it finally drops. You get the signature, you get the sign off, you get the money in, and it drops. And there's just this, and I used to go through this all the time. I remember doing a deal for 100 grand. I met the guy on the Gold Coast within the hour of driving back to Brisbane. The transfer had been done over a handshake. There was no contract. It was a
Wow.
straight handshake, 100 grand cleared. He already had my details because we'd already done previously a 50,000, but we didn't need a contract. It was easy enough to work on. And so I'll just let Maddie in. And he basically closed. And then when he did, like 2 days afterwards, I was just like over not overwhelmed, but I felt flat because we were speaking about it for a couple of weeks, and there's always this sort of 2 week intense period where we're backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Talk to me about that, Zaki. Just share what you're feeling or what you felt. I know we're coming out of that now because I've brought this to your attention to snap you out of it.
Yeah. I mean, just the build up. I don't think it's just not normal, is it? It's just not. It's it probably is normal to some extent. Like people go through periods of like intense preparation, intense anxiety, intense like going through all the scenarios in your head, and then when sorry, the fucking washing machine's getting crazy. And as soon as it kind of like um as soon as it happens, you're just like all that just drops, and you're just like, okay, what now? I've as an artist, I felt it more, I think, than I did this recent time. I think having played shows to like mosh pits and stuff, and then and people singing your lyrics back to you, and then doing like film premieres as well, and where people are moved by your work every morning after that. Sometimes even by the time I've gotten home and there's just silence in my living room, you take your shoes off, you walk back in, it's just you and your missus or whatever, and you just like you have that feeling of like, oh, that's it now. It's done. It's like what what do you do? But then I think why I was prepared for this one is because of you, Michael, because it was very much like I heard your voice, and all this kind of intense preparation we've been doing just means that I get to understand you better, which means I get to have it's a luxury to be able to say, oh, what would Michael do in this situation, or what would Michael tell me in this situation, and then being able to say, oh, he's going to say on to the next one now. Do you know what I mean? So now it's like,
Yes.
okay. And you saw very quickly, I was like, yeah, I done it, but straight away I asked, what does my onboarding process look like? Because
Good. I love that.
I needed to push forward, because I'm like, if I just like get too congratulatory, and believe me, Michael, I cried. I literally
Yes.
cried.
I
It
know. I
when
know. It was a big
when
deal.
it happened, it was a big deal.
Mm.
Text, and it was just like, looks like we're all going ahead. That was like, my wife coming over to
It's,
me and saying, you can fucking you done it. You see, like you can fucking do it.
yeah, that's
My
the big
wife's always had more belief in me than I've had in myself. Do you know what I mean?
yes.
She's never shaken her belief in me. It's amazing
Yes.
what this woman does for me in that respect. So that's been so helpful. It's just like having people like yourself, having people like my wife, just reassuring me, and also giving me the tools to be able to move forward, and move away from that feeling of flat, which didn't this time. I felt it longer before, because I didn't know what to do next. But having the structure now from Clout of being able to understand what to do next, and knowing that I have people I can ask questions for, and questions to in order to how to move forward, that makes a hell of a difference.
I think as well, like what is special about this is not necessarily the money side of things. Money's great. It's your first biggie. I remember my first biggie, and what happened to me was like, that was it. I was never fucking going back. That was it. Like we got Matty on the call. He's pitching 15, and he could have pitched 30, but his belief system only like let him hit to 15. He didn't want to take, but once he gets 15, he's never going under that again. He will find it very difficult to take $1,000 £1,000 project on or a 2,000. It's just not going to happen unless there's some kind of making sense for it. So the beautiful thing about taking on a deal like this is what it does to you internally, your belief system, what you're going to look for. Like I said, you close your eyes, you think of a color, but then I open your eyes and say, spot me a totally different color. Now your belief system has been rattled. It's been rattled internally, which now allows you to be able to know what you can do and what you're going to be looking for. But in terms of your onboarding process, what I will say to you, and I said it to you in your thing, is that we do need to make sure that we set that onboarding process up. And yes, shift focus, move on to the next thing. The next step is let's congratulate. Well done. Great. But now we're running a business. We're not turning this into a long-term job that's going to go on for months and months and months and months and months and months that it ends up turning into a full-time. That's the biggest trap. What we need to do is we need to understand the element of speed and processes and protocols, right? And one of the things with onboarding is also your second sales call. You don't realize, but the onboarding element is actually your second upsell. This is about upselling not only to other services that you may be able to provide, because you may say to the client, look, if you need media buying, we have this service layer within this business. Now, we've obviously got our terms and agreement of what we're going to execute on, but as we go through our journey together, through our process, we may discover that you may need some media buying. You may need some extra animation videos. You may need some more testimonials. And I'm going to suggest this to you because I'm looking for the success of you as a brand, not just from this one project. I see this as a long-term arching play. So that is your opportunity to upsell them into other service layers in the business, right? And the other thing as well is demonstrating that the fact that you don't put a lot of money into advertising and that you want to put it into them. And so therefore, if they become a referral partner to you, maybe you could create an a reward system. I never gave anything for referrals, never, nothing, zero, nothing. My job was I will put my soul into this because I don't put into ads, and I'm going to make sure you get what you want out of it. I'm going to hit your goals, but I'm just saying to you that my business is built on referrals. I obviously do some advertising. If you see it, I do put a little bit in that, but I'm mainly putting all my energy and effort into my current clients because I'm in hope that I can build another 3 or 4 clients off you and turn you into a case study, right? And then the next part of the onboarding process is what to expect from you. Code of conduct, them kind of things. This is what we're going to do with you over the next sort of several weeks. This is the pre-production. This is the onboarding. This is the planning stage. This is the conceptualization. This is going to be roughly the time we're going to start the shoots. And then we're going into into our post house, and just everything you're doing in that onboarding process, Zaki, is language related, right? We want to use very high level words like post-production. You want to use your language. Your language is super important. Instead of saying video, we say production, or we say, when we're doing pre-production, I personally like the word conceptualization. Just makes it sound a little bit bigger and more sexier and more exciting for them. And their investment feels much bigger, and they've got more in it for the deal. You know what I mean? You want to, where we wrap words, things around, obviously, the words that we use is key because it creates value. And like at the end of the day, like we're all just selling pixels and waveforms. But we're not. We're selling clarity of message. We're selling differentiation. We're selling trust. We're selling authority. We're selling credibility. We're selling sales. We're converting people. We're helping bring awareness to stuff. We're giving them that emotional connection through these stories that we tell. So you want to constantly, and this is something that I want to say to you now, and as we're going through this journey together, number one, we want to be constantly selling to these guys subconsciously through adding value, suggesting other upsells. Don't let that get away from you, okay? There's different things they were going to need throughout that process. So we want to keep selling to them, right? Because it's only going to add value to them. The second thing I want you to focus on is key insights, right? Is taking insights from what's working and what's not working, documenting, creating a Google Doc or some kind of note-taking system or some kind of software where you can say this worked, this didn't work, this was working, this isn't working. And we're documenting them key insights. And we're looking for things like, was that hard and difficult to film that particular thing? Or when I released this particular footage and I gave him this piece, Did they seem dull or excited when I dropped it to them? Was there a lot of feedback? Was there a lot of this? Was there a lot of that? What was working? What was converting? What was actually getting them a result? And we want to document that process because we're taking them through a flywheel for, and what we're doing is we're looking for key insights because a lot of us are just sitting on key insights and we could be creating content from this. Like all their pain points and frustration, you can actually take that, put that to an insight document, and then actually there's a lot of key insights there that would attract more of these type of clients. Because let's be honest, this client, I know this client's got some money behind them, right? And they could quite easily say to you, you know, we want to drop another 250,000, right? Easily. And this could be a testing ground for that, which is where if we put our soul and we keep upselling and introducing these new service layers and we do a phenomenal job and we're collecting insights, this can turn into not only a upsell opportunity, but a much longer term relationship and a key referral partner, plus giving us all these key metrics and these insights to how our protocol should be, our onboarding process should be, how our upsell opportunities should be, how we can cross pollinate and repeat the same offer for probably double the price with an added few extra things in there because you're going to discover so much in the next couple of weeks that you can build into your new offer. And so we just ignore the people we're working with. And my key point here is insights and the sale doesn't stop now. Obviously, you're providing value because they're paying for something, right? You're constantly adding value to them all the time. And you don't want to come across as this big salesperson. I'm not trying to say that. But if you can see clearly they need a media buyer, if you can see clearly that they need some testimonials because they're bottlenecking in a certain part of the business, then you're going to offer that as a service layer back to them to upsell them. And you shouldn't be afraid of that because it's the right thing. Again, we go back to the 4 pillars of selling, which is 1, structure of call, 2, tonality, 3 is the main one, intention to help them. And so if we have that energy going through the project, you just can't go wrong. You just cannot go wrong. And the information you're going to get from them, the insights you're going to learn is going to be absolutely exciting. So, man, I'm so excited for you. I'm going to stop the record there. I think is there anything you want to say to anybody that's struggling right now or
I
other than
think,
joining Clout? Ha ha ha. Other than joining Clout. I mean, we already know what you've already done me a beautiful video testimonial and you don't need to make it all about me, but like just some words from one storyteller to another storyteller.
yeah.
It would be nice.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, clout's the easy thing to say, but I think even without clout, it just in terms of the internalized limiting self-beliefs that we have, I think acknowledge them and make sure that you work on them, because I think those are the things that, even if it's as simple as something saying like, um, this package costs 50 grand, saying that in the mirror, but saying it in the mirror like every day, every morning. That's your fucking mantra every day, because you don't want to say, oh well, this actually it costs 50K. I mean, I could do you a discount on that. It's like, fuck all that, man. That was me a year ago, right? But now I'm just like, this costs 50K.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yep.
I can believe it. And it hasn't been easy. I just want to show, like, I when I started Clout, I didn't have alopecia. I shaved my head yesterday, so I don't know how much you can see it, but I've developed alopecia like around about halfway, like, or about 3-4 months into being Clout. I've got other shit going on in my life as well, but I think one thing that I've had to deal with is stress, right? And
Mm.
and and stress also comes from not understanding what you're actually worth, because one of the things that I started to actually grow my hair back a little bit in certain places, it's coincided with me having that mantra of like, this costs 50K, just
Yep.
like when you start learning your value, the amount of good things that can happen in your life. It sounds so cheesy because I'd listen to something like this a fucking year ago and think, oh man, I bet this guy's a fucking scam artist, man. He's reading off a script or something. And I know there's there's creators right now watching me saying like, oh, like fucking, like, this guy, oh, it's a one-off, or you got lucky or whatever, or this can't be me. It's like, it can be literally anyone. literally
Yes.
you just you have to, of course you have to have the skill, you have to have the passion, but more than anything you have to have the belief, right? And there's people that are shitter at what you do, like much shitter at what you do, who are earning more money because they believe it, right? And they almost to the point they don't even have a conscience, right? But they're getting shit done and they're doing so.
Yeah,
You
yeah, that's right.
you need to
It is.
borrow
I
a little bit of that kind of energy while also maintaining your core principles and core ethics and your core value and morals, but also realize that there's that element of like this is all in your head. So
Yeah,
just
I don't know. It's so funny what you're saying right now because Maddie's on the call, and I don't know if he wants to go on my YouTube or not because I haven't really told him. But he has a deal. He actually got given a fairly large budget, and he only went to half. Is Maddie? Do you want to say anything about this?
Yeah, no,
Like,
100%. I agree with what Zaki said. I think it comes with time and it like breaking your belief down like step by step. And obviously I was in the exact same boat as Zaki. You just think there's absolutely no way. And I speak to like even when I first spoke to my friends about when I was joining Clout, they just said there's absolutely no way, like it's gotta be a scam. Once you do sell one, like you're saying, it's broken.
yeah.
You can move past it.
Once you close that 15, there'll be no going back to that. And I'll stop the recorder in a second and we'll go into it in a second. But for Zaki, like there'll be no going back. It'd be very, very, very uncomfortable, sick feeling in the stomach when we start talking about anything like this is what happened to me. And your brain now will train you to start looking for more high profiles. It will just naturally take over. Your subconscious mind will start to look for where the real money is, where people want to invest in visual storytelling, acquisition infrastructures. They are going to be more present to you now because you'll find you'll be in conversation. You'll naturally be drawn more to them type of people because once I closed my first 30K, that was it. I don't think I ever dealt with a client under $5 million after that. And all my conversations were happening, not just monthly, but they were weekly conversations of around between 50 and $100,000 brand stories and projects. And the more momentum you build from this, particularly Zaki, I need to keep you going and keep your momentum going because what will happen is more and more of this stuff will start to come to play. Dude, I'm super excited. I'm going to cut the record and I just want to go into Zaki's deal. For the privacy reasons, I just want to cut it. But yeah, for those of you that are watching, subscribe. You'll get more key insights like this.